Hi friends, good evening. I'm Dr. Ashutosh. I'm a consultant in fetal medicine. So today we are going to talk about the fetal growth, right? And how do we measure and how do we follow it out? How do we follow it out, right? So with every machine, you do have the centiles and the graphs which are there, right? But then that graph is not being customized according to the patient, to the index patient that we are that is being subjected to evaluation, and then which is lying on my couch. There are some 7 to 8 co-variables that needs to be taken into account, right? Her height, her weight, her amount of fat available into her body, her BMI, what is the GDM status, what is the uteroplacental flows across, right? So there are a lot of co-variables before we can customize that growth chart according to her, right? So this is one case by which I'll let you know how this is a common scenario nowadays, that probably somebody comes up and says that my baby is a third centile and fourth centile and the baby is not growing. So probably we are going to bust this myth, right? Okay. So this was this lady who had come to me for an anomaly scan, and then I looked around for 20 weeks, and then she was lost to follow up. I looked around for the baby, and the baby was absolutely fine. Some fine day she rings me up and she says that I want to see you, and my baby, somebody has told me that my baby is growing at the third centile and the weight is less and blah blah blah, and therefore, so I asked her that you come down to my clinic. I saw her, and then we looked around the reason to it why the baby was not growing. What is the status? What is the status of the amniotic fluid? What is the status of the uterine arteries? What is the flow of the umbilical artery? And how the baby is doing, and how we can manage and salvage this situation, right? So she came to me at 28. The weight of the baby was something around 800 grams, which ideally should have been something around 1 kg or 1100 grams, and it was a uteroplacental insufficiency. We started with a low molecular weight heparin, titrated the doses, and kept under a close surveillance as far as what is happening. I was very candid and categorical about the whole stuff, that this we do have our own ways of titrating the doses of the LMWH. We can go up to a maximum dose. What maximum doses of LMWH that we can go up to? At what time that probably we'll stop getting any juice, any beneficial effect out of this low molecular weight heparin? एंड मोटा मोटा मैंने उसको ये समझा दिया था कि दैट व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी दी course of that particular disease and how we are going to circumvent all these circumstances. किस स्टेज पे क्या चीज़ हमको देना है. एंटीनेटली लंग मैच्योरिटी के लिए स्टेरॉइड दिया, तो वो भी एंटी इन्फ्लेमेटरी होता है, उसको भी देने से हमको तकरीबन 10 दिन का टाइम मिला, इन विच द बेबी की ग्रोथ हुई, एंड देन वी आइडेंटिफाइड वंस द इफेक्ट ऑफ दैट स्टेरॉइड वुड negate and would come down, definitely the umbilical artery resistance would get into higher range, and then probably we might need to take the baby out. ये सब nitty gritties मैं इस वीडियो में आपको समझा देता हूँ. This is where we started our journey. So we were at the 10th centile or less than that. Then we had followed this pregnancy up, and then you can see that from less than 10 centile we were at the 3rd centile, 5th centile, 7th centile. Gradually we had gone up to 10th centile, right? Simultaneously the doses of the LMWH were being titrated according to the amniotic, and the amniotic fluid index was also varying. Umbilical artery, RI and PI, they were also varying according to the LMWH. So they were consistently at 90th centile. Then we had given them the steroid. That steroid is an anti-inflammatory. For lung maturity के लिए जो steroid देते हैं, that is also has got an anti-inflammatory effect. That gave us the window of 10 days. In the meantime, the baby की growth हुई, and then we had given up a 10 days period. So as the effect of the steroid waned down, then the umbilical artery resistance started to go up, and then we have identified that it has started to have a stagnation as far as the growth of the baby is concerned, and then we took a call to take the baby out, right? Putting onto the biometric parameters of the baby onto the graph, आप कभी भी ये नहीं बता सकते जब तक उसको हमने बेबी की ग्रोथ को हमने 2 हफ्ते के अंतराल से ज़्यादा में नहीं मेजर किया 2 बार. सो until unless you keep the baby under follow up ultrasounds and surveillance, you cannot identify how the baby is growing. पहला. दूसरा, we need to identify what is the possible etiology and how do we can correct it. Third, there is a titration of the low molecular weight heparin. So there is a dosage regime that probably we can follow. There is a maximum dosage of the LMWH that probably you can go up to, and then you start to feel that the effect of LMWH is not up to the mark, right? So that gets reflected onto the umbilical artery, which is the rate limiting step, right? So the umbilical artery, RI and PI are the most important thing. जब वो खराब होना, when they're at the 90th centile or when they start to go up, so probably brain is sparing, and then you can have some issues with the ductus venosus, and then you can have some issues with the preload index of the inferior vena cava. So meaning thereby that by that time you would have some sort of a dysmaturity and a growth stagnation. So probably you know that you have gained whatever juice that you could extract out of this LWH and all those scenario. So इस सिचुएशन में हम तकरीबन 893 grams से लेकर we took the baby to 2073 grams, right? So this is how we manage this whole scenario and whole situation. So this is for your understanding. Thank you very much for your patient listening.